All right, we got a special edition of the Julian Gallardi Show today. We're joined by Kyle Drone of Dinger Bats. He's the co-founder, put together by our good friend, family friends of mine, good friend of Kyle, the great Robert Narvez. So, Kyle, thanks for coming in. We met at the winter meetings.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. So, Kyle, let's get right to it. What was your motivation behind starting Dinger Bats? I know you told me that you did it around 20 years ago, and I know you're based out of Illinois, and you take a lot of trips to the Dominican Republic and stuff. So, I'm definitely curious to hear about your inspiration.
I mean, the number one inspiration is be around baseball, be around the sport I love. I played it all the way through college and a little bit after, but unfortunately wasn't able to continue playing at the pro level. So I found a way to stay relevant in baseball and eventually make it to the big leagues with not personally, but with guys using our bats there.
I absolutely love that because I feel like a similar sentiment to why I'm doing this in baseball as well. I didn't play in college. My father did, but not me. So he tried to go into it. But I think that's really cool. I love being involved in baseball. I feel like every single person that works like in the reporting side had some vision of playing at some point, probably, or like something, or like all the stuff we're all doing. But some people are just good at what they do. So, and we're both. But like, so let's go. How did you do it? Like, how did you get it started? Like, it's definitely a challenging thing, obviously.
Yeah, so basically, I came up with the idea while I was working. I was in college, but I was working in the summers as a bullpen catcher for the AA Cubs there in Jackson, Tennessee, and got to see all the different bats that the guys were using, and in fact, was actually paid or compensated by some of the players with bats because back then they didn't get paid as much as they do now, and I would have to carry them to the store to get their groceries or wherever to the convenience store, and they didn't have money to pay me for gas, so they would give me gear. I'd get batting gloves, fielding gloves, bats, and I got really into the bats because there were a lot of different brands and a lot of different models, and from that becoming friends with some of the players, we were hanging out, and one of my buddies at the time was previous year was a AA All-Star, and this year he was struggling, and his reasoning behind that was that he didn't have any good wood. And I didn't understand what that meant exactly, but he said there was a few guys on his teams that had buddies in the big leagues that would send them down good wood, and at the minor league level they just couldn't, they didn't have access. So I asked him, I said, hey, if I started making bats, would you use them? And he said, yeah, absolutely. So I pitched the idea to my father, and about a month later, he called me up and said, I ordered a lathe and some wood, and when they go out of town, come home and we'll make some bats. So that's basically how it all got started.
So you and your father physically handmade them?
Yeah, no,
Wow.
I'd never actually used a lathe before. He ordered one. It was there. We figured it out, and not right away. Obviously, it took some time, but within a month, I was cutting bats that guys were using in the game.
That's sick, and then that must have been a tough process to do that. And I'm sure over time you got people to help you with it, obviously. But like, how long did you guys have to make them by yourselves before it kind of took off, and like some people were able to help you with some of it?
I mean, I was the only employee for the first 10 months. And then we ended up getting a contract to make bats for another company, very similar to the situation with Robert, with Spalding. There was a company called Worth Sporting Goods that was in the wood bat business in the late 80s and early 90s, and then got out of it and decided when I was around to get back into it. They didn't specifically target me. I was one of many that they called, but I was the one that eventually ended up with the contract. And so we went from, making, about 400, 500 bats the first 10 months to making about 30,000 the next 10 months.
Okay, well, that's a big acceleration here. So let's talk about some trips. I know we spoke about this too, about the Dominican Republic and all the stuff you've done down there. I know you said you just went recently.
Mm-hmm.
How rewarding, taxing, grueling, and like all the above are those experiences?
I mean, as far as the DR trip, that is something that's fairly new. I've always wanted to, go after that market, but it's, I didn't speak the language. I'm a gringo, so it's hard to relate to the guys, hard to get the trust. So I never really had an access until the last couple of years. I've through baseball, just like you and I met through Robert. Couple guys I played 4-year ball with, played with a dude in JUCO that was dual citizen, bilingual, and introduced us, and we hit it off. And last few years we've been working this angle, and it's really paying off for us.
That's awesome to hear, and I definitely want to try to go there too at some point because like I've never done it for baseball purposes, and I know it's like tough, but I do have someone, my friend when the 162 breakdown is doing some of that stuff too. It kind of just goes into what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But he's been doing a lot of work down there, getting kids bats and like trying to work on getting players like deals and certain things. But he's actually there now for the Lids Home Championship, so I
Nice.
think that's really cool. But so go towards the majors. Like I know Jazz Chisholm's had your bat in the past for one. Like who are some other guys that have had your bats that some people would know, or maybe even some under the radar guys that are grabbing some dinger bats from you?
Yeah, I mean, dating back to the beginning, I don't know if you remember a guy named Brad Wilkerson.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he was at the time was drafted. He's from our area, so
Okay.
I played ball against him, and when he got drafted, the first year as a pitcher, and he didn't sign, so he held off a year, and I played against him all that summer, got to know him a little bit. The next year he got drafted as a hitter with the Expos, and he and I started working together. He was loyal to us pretty much all the way through. He actually hit the last home run as an Expo with our bat. And then, the Expos turned into the Washington Nationals. And he had the first hit for the Washington Nationals with our bat. So that's pretty cool to have that record. He's one of the very first. There was several in between. And the next most notable was Hunter Pence.
Yeah, big one.
Yeah, when he was with the Astros, he got us our first All-Star appearance. So that was pretty cool, and luckily it was in St. Louis, so my dad and I both got to attend. Got one at bat late in the game, hit the ball hard, but didn't successfully get a hit. But either way, it was exciting. After that, Starling Marte. Who from Marte, we got Jazz Chisholm, Matt Adams, Jason Hayward. Kyle Schwarber was a huge one for us. We got him right out of the draft. Got him all the way through the breaking of the curse for the Cubs.
That's massive.
In fact, I had a buddy, that was 2016 and almost 10 years ago. And I had a buddy the other day that was up at Cooperstown, and one of our bats from that Schwarber used in the game is still in the Cubs World Series display 10 years later. So that's pretty cool as well. Ton of them in between. Colton Wong, Jazz, as you said. Let's see, Garrett Jones with the Pirates was always a big supporter of ours. Don Kelly, who is now the manager of the Pirates, he used us, and many, many more that I can't really think of off the top of my head. But those are a lot of the bigger names.
I like that a lot. Like I actually know basically all those players, believe it or not.
Awesome.
Even Wilkerson. So
Yeah.
'cause I love the Expos. I'm upset what happened with them, and then like I know it turns to the Nationals. So I'm definitely gonna enjoy that part of it when I listen back to this. But that's really cool. So how do you go about getting players? Like, do they come to you? Do you go to them? Like, how does that process work? Is it kind of just like who you know and like who's willing to give it a try, basically?
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, and every player is different, and obviously, the climate of the way baseball is today versus 20 years ago is quite different. We still have really good access to players, but not the same access we used to have, and so you just try to get them young. You try to build that relationship, build the trust, and keep them all the way through, and hope that a bigger company doesn't come and pay them or convince them to go the other way, which unfortunately happens.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's like everyone's always looking for that bigger opportunity and everything, so it's tough to like hold it all together. But it's definitely been cool to hear about some of the guys that you get and kind of like the process of how it goes. So, what's been the biggest challenge for you in this journey?
Um, I mean, a couple things. Just we're small, so we don't have the financing behind us like a lot of the bigger companies do. And just you know, battling the loyalty, but I think goes hand in hand because we can't always be there in front of them, because we don't have the deeper pockets and the ability to. Although I travel a lot, I don't. I need to be out there a lot more and taking care of the players, and sometimes it's a financial struggle to do so.
Oh, I know how that goes. Believe me, and like all the stuff I'm trying to handle.
Right.
So I completely understand that. But like that's just such a cool opportunity, like in a moment for you. So, what do you do like during spring training and stuff? Like, do you go to spring training here and there and try to like talk to some teams and players and see if you can get some people to get it before the season starts? Maybe like, what does your February look like?
Yeah, so we'll make our rounds. We've got good relationships with the clubhouse guys, or most of them. They'll give us access. We try to introduce ourselves to people that don't know us or haven't met us, and specifically target people that we've had relationships with or conversations with in the past. And, just try to, like anything else, just make those connections stronger and hopefully build their trust in us and both our quality, which is as good as anybody out there, and service, which is equally as good. So, but it's a matter of convincing them that, and so we just continue to be relevant, stay out there, shake hands, let them know we're there if they need us. And, we may sample or let them hit some in the cage, or if they have something specific they're looking for, we try to cater to that as much as possible. But, you can't, with our size, we can't go after everybody. So we kind of target guys that fit into our kind of Midwestern lifestyle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
So
You want to hit your community and hit your area and then try to
yeah,
see what you can do from there. That makes
yeah,
perfect sense.
right.
So speaking of Midwest, dude, we're talking about some Cubs stuff and breaking the curse. So I'm assuming you're a Cubs guy, big Cubs guy, or what?
Actually, no. I'm
Oh
actually born.
no.
I'm actually 5.5 hours south of Chicago,
Okay.
and I am all Cardinals.
Oh.
I was born in the late '70s. Grew up through the '80s with Ozzie Smith, Willie McGee, Vince Coleman. All the championship series runs. Even though they didn't win them all, but they were. They had some good battles, and I saw that. And for me, growing up, I mean, I remember one of the first games I ever went to, and Ozzie Smith ran out there and did a backflip. And, it has nothing to do with baseball, but that sold me right there. So I've been a Cardinal fan ever since. And I used to get early on, especially because Schwarber was one of the ones that really put us on the map with the Cubs, and got several guys after that. But all my buddies, all my Cardinal fan buddies, it just blow me up. Like, you can't get no Cardinals, because that's before we had Matt Adams and Colton Wong and those guys.
Yeah.
So but it was fun. I don't hate the Cubs, even though I'm supposed to.
I get it, yeah. Well, it's not good. It's not good for business.
Right.
Obviously, it's like
Absolutely.
reporting. Like, I can't hate any team because like I might need to talk to any player from any of the 30 teams. So like,
Right.
it's
Right.
like I can't close the door off on any team.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I completely
So,
understand.
but yeah, to answer the question, I grew up a Cardinals fan, and I'm still a Cardinals fan. So hoping we turn it around here in the next few years.
Yeah, it's definitely been some rough sledding. How do you feel about the trades that they've done? I think it's the right approach, but we'll have to see how it plays out over the long run, I guess.
The trade situation, it's frustrating because you see what the Cubs are doing, adding pieces, spending money. You got the Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds, who are, they were in the cellar for so long, but they drafted really well, so they got some really good young pitching and potential superstars. So it's gonna be a tough in the Central, when the Central is normally pretty even kill all the way through, and you always have a chance at the end. I don't think that's going to be the case the next couple of years. So I don't know if you saw they hired Yadier as special assistant to the GM. I think that is a step in the right direction to potentially making him the manager.
Yes.
And then on top of it, I think, nothing against the DeWitt family that owns the team. I think it's time for an ownership change, bringing somebody in that'll spend the money. And because, Cardinals are arguably the best or the most historic National League franchise in baseball. I mean, definitely got the most championships for any National League team until the Dodgers play 5 more years. But anyway, I mean, they deserve to, defend that honor, I believe, and I don't feel like this ownership is going to spend that kind of money. So we'll see.
So I'll say a few things here. First of all, I'm sure you're very happy that Peralta's out of your division. At least that's one thing that's positive for you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I'll give you some hope there.
Yeah.
And then the second part is that I actually went to St. Louis, and I love their ballpark. It's one of my favorite stadiums in the baseball, actually. And I know how passionate you guys are and how much baseball means to you guys out there. And the fact that you guys stopped going last year really showed me how messed up the situation was. But I saw it brewing, though. I mean, 2022, you guys were still legit. You guys swept the Yankees. 23 is when it kind of starts to go the other way. And then last year was an abject disaster, obviously.
Right.
And then this year looks like I don't even know what this year is going to be, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, JJ Weatherholt's cool. You go look forward to that, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. But, I'm really surprised we haven't traded him away because it seems like every time we get that next guy, Adolis Garcia.
Yes,
we had Tommy Edman. We got rid of. We get rid of everybody. It seems like that once they leave, they have crazy success, which is great for them. But man, what are we getting back?
Yeah, no, it's definitely been a tough thing. So we'll have to see how that looks. But yeah, this offseason is running through the Dodgers, and I have to tell you this. I actually have to say, I always did view the Cardinals that way, by the way. When I was growing up, I did view them as, like, the second team behind the Yankees. I was like, that's, like, the National League team. I really like the Cardinals on the bat. Like, the jerseys are classic. Like, the white Cardinal jersey is one of my favorite in the sports still.
Yeah.
So I definitely had, like, I definitely loved Albert Pujols. I was into Yachty too, so like I definitely enjoyed watching them. But it's definitely been a tough time. But their tradition and history, and like I saw like the retired numbers and everything, like they set it up very nice.
Yeah. They call it the Cardinal way, and I'm fortunate enough to be friends with several ex-Cardinals that are still like, and even I'm not going to say irrelevant ones, but guys that only played there a few years, that didn't. They always seem to come back to St. Louis as their home team, even though they might have spent most of their career other places. Actually, how I became a Yankee fan is Donnie Baseball because he lives 30 minutes from here. And in fact, I'm going to Saturday. We got his charity event that we'll be going to. But
I love Mattingly. It's awesome.
Yeah, but that was during the time they didn't win. Like outside of the historic run that. King Griffey Jr. stole away from him where he had, he was tremendous. And I really wish his career would have been longer because, to me, he should have been in the Hall of Fame already. But
yes, that's something we should talk about because we were both in Orlando and he didn't get the vote, and I thought he was going to get the vote. I was getting excited for it. Like I thought it was going to be him, but I was like, damn it. I was like, but like, I think Kent was deserving though. That wasn't a shot at Kent. I actually think he deserves to go in too. But, I just think they should have voted Donnie in too somehow. But like that's a cool thing. I would say I didn't get to see him play, unfortunately, because it was before my time, so I can only go off clips, basically.
Right.
But I know, like, so many people talk about him, like, I know, and, like, everyone reveres him in Yankee Nation still, like, and I was lucky enough to get to speak to him when he was managed the Marlins, so that was
nice.
Cool. So
yeah.
I have run into him a couple times across the years, so that's been fun. He's with the Phillies now, so that's still possible. Not too far from him, so you never know.
Yeah.
But no, Mattingly, I definitely think is deserving. I don't know if they'll ever get it. Unfortunately, it's just like it's a clear case of injuries ruining it because like he was clearly a Hall of Famer without the injuries. You can make a case he still is even with them. it's just like a tough situation for him, unfortunately, with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean it's but if you go by dominating a decade, like his decades is almost as good as anyone's out there. So I mean, I hope for him to finally get it, and I think he will. He showed, like, even though he didn't get it this last time, he had some pretty strong voting. Like, I think he have six? Did he
Yeah,
get
I
six
think the
votes?
arrow went up for him. Carlos
Yeah,
Delgado was really close too. Delgado
yeah,
like just missed it,
right.
almost kind of. But like, yeah, I think there is a way he gets it eventually. I don't know how many years you can go in and out of that thing, but like, hopefully they figure it out and get him in there. Bottom
Yeah,
line,
I agree.
I
I
think
agree.
it's definitely deserving. Like, because if you're telling me he ran a decade, like that's good enough for me, honestly. Because like that's kind of how you look at the whole. Like, did you dominate a certain period of time? Were you one of the best players in the league? Yes, yes. Were you
Yeah,
one of the best defensive players ever? Yes.
yeah.
Were you an MVP? Yup. The only thing he's missing is the bling, unfortunately, because the Yankees sucked at that time.
Right.
So I bet you, I bet you, if he had a ring, he might have been in the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, they
I
were
think you'd be
terrible.
right. Yeah.
It
Yep.
was just a bad timing for him, unfortunately.
Yep. Yep. That happens.
Yeah, so that's a really cool parallel we just crossed up there. So yeah, the Cardinals are really fun too. So like, let me ask you this: as we're gonna probably head towards our departure, because I know it's been a crazy day and we're busy, but we got a lot of good stuff in here, and I
Yeah.
definitely want to
Good.
progress more in the future. What's the best way for someone like me to help you? In essence, like just put your brand out there and try to get awareness out to other people, or like if I talk to certain players, like see if they'd be interested in like trying some different sort of bats. Like, how do you have outsiders help you? I guess is that way. I guess like if
Yeah. I
they
mean,
want to,
just
kind of.
word of mouth. Send them to me. Give them my contact information. I own the company, but I'm not unreachable. As you know, I mean, I try to make myself available to anybody and everybody if I can help them and do something better for them. I'll do my best, and if not, I'll let them know. So it's yeah, just word of mouth is always been the best way for us because we don't have the marketing dollars. We don't have the big spend. So I just I live by that.
So the best way for people to follow the Tinger is Instagram and Twitter. Now, are you guys on any other platforms? And do you have any personal accounts that people could follow or connect with to like get more information about Tinger?
Yeah, no, everything is under Dinger, Dinger Bats. We've got TikTok, we've got Instagram, we've got Facebook and Twitter X, I guess is what it is now. So yeah, any of those, um, check us out, follow us, comment, ask us questions. We'd love to interact with everybody, and hopefully we can, you know, do some business with them.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a good way to go about it. So, Kyle, thank you.